Well, it's a big week for high school football here in the area as the John Tyler Lions and the Robert E. Lee Red Raiders get it on for the 60th time. Yep, the 60th meeting coming up on Friday night at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium. And again, hi everybody, Bill Coates with John Tyler head coach Rickland Holmes. The Lions and the Red Raiders have been playing every year since 1958. There were a couple of years mixed in there where the district was in a double round robin situation. They played twice. Imagine that. But anyway, this is the 60th meeting, 7:30 Friday night at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium between the Lions and the Red Raiders. And Coach Holmes looks at this rivalry from a unique perspective. You played in this game in the 1990s, and now you're coaching in this game. So what has the Lee JT game meant to you over the years?
Well, I played in it for 4 years, and now I'm coaching in it for my fourth year. So the intensity is still the same. It's still a crosstown rivalry. Only thing that's different now is it doesn't have the weight that it had back then because we were district opponents then. So. And
that game, when you played, were they playing it on Saturday?
We played
afternoon?
On a Saturday afternoon. It was I think it normally started at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, and those games, you're right. Those games generally had huge playoff implications.
Oh, most definitely.
District championships on the line, stuff like that, right?
That's when we both were pretty solid football teams back then. I know, especially when Coach Owens first came in, he had them rocking and rolling. I know one year that we played, I think we beat them 55 to something. They actually came in second in our district behind us.
Yeah.
And the game came down to that game right there to see who's going to be district champions.
Do you have a specific memory playing in the game? Anything that just jumps out at you that you did, or maybe
my
somebody?
Senior year, first play, scat left, take it for 54 yards and touchdown.
Okay, so you all right? Yeah, I understand. So it was a jet sweep type thing, like.
We call it scat,
yeah,
which is a toss for everybody else, for the new school football players.
Yeah, I was going to say, Alan, what you guys call the bubble screen now is a pass play was his pitch play, right?
That's his pitch play.
That's basically,
that's why
right?
That's why he said he threw the ball a whole bunch of times during the game. Threw it left, threw it right.
Yeah, pitch it left, pitch it right.
There you go.
In fact, he said to me on this show years ago, probably before the league game, so we put it in the air 60 times a game. Pitch it left, pitch it right?
Anytime it leaves somebody's hand and goes to another hand, that's a pass.
What's the game, just the intensity of the rivalry? I mean, you've been a part of rivalry games. Heck, when you played at Oklahoma State, it was OU, right?
Oh, yeah, Bedlam series.
The Bedlam series. So just the general, I mean, are there similarities in all these rivalry games that you've seen?
Oh, most definitely. And it starts with the fan base. They're the ones that get it going and actually stir up more than the players themselves, and the players kind of feed into it as far as, hey, we got to protect our side, they got to protect their side. And now it goes into the deal where now it's not just the fans, now it's the football players getting into it. So.
Well, what was that Bedlam series like between the Oklahoma State and Oklahoma? What was that like?
It was fun when you was winning. It wasn't so fun when you was losing, because when you lose, the whole state of Oklahoma let you know you lost.
Yeah.
But when you win, they also let you know the same thing when you won. But that series is very intense because of the distance that's between them, and Oklahoma City being in the middle. They're kind of caught, in the crossfire, because half of Oklahoma City like Stillwater, the other half like Norman, but the majority of our fan base is in Tulsa. So.
How do you prep the guys this week? I mean, for them to ignore the whatever distractions might come up?
Well, by them being their senior year and this being my senior year, their mentality has kind of came off from me now. So they really know what to expect. They know how to handle things now. And that's because, for the last 4 years, I've been drilling into them, exactly what to do and how to handle things. And they know that, I monitor their social media just as much as probably any college coach in America. So
I was going to say, has that changed the game? Because now when you played, there was no Facebook, there was no Twitter, Instagram, and the stuff like. And the kids go back and forth. I know that the players go back and forth all summer long, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And all it does, it just increases the exposure of the game. Is what it does. It puts it on another platform.
Yeah, so have you banned social media this week?
No, I haven't banned social media. I don't have to anymore because they know how to monitor their own selves.
Okay, do you know? Okay, I mean, you've got the Twitter and all that stuff. Do you know what they've tweeted out?
Oh, I know. I know what's been tweeted. I know what's been retweeted. So,
my good friend and one of my favorite players on your team is Pierre Leonard. And you intentionally on Tuesday morning or Monday morning wouldn't let me talk to
Yeah.
Pierre, did you?
No, not
For the radio,
this week.
right?
Not this week. Not this week. Now maybe next week we might let you talk to
Yeah,
him.
because Pierre's he's a talker. He's
He is
also kind of the straw that stirs the drink around there among the players too, isn't he?
He is. Pierre is a player that has learned that his play on the field is a lot louder than his voice. So he's starting to level out a lot of things that he used to do in the past that he's not doing right now.
All right, like that kid. All right, we'll talk about Lee coming up in a moment, but just before we look at the video, you're 0-2, and they've both been pretty close ball games against Plano and then Longview this past week, but still the Lobos beat you 31-14 on Saturday night at the stadium. What'd you make out of that ball game?
Just the mistakes that we saw on film that gave up the points that we gave up, especially 21 points. 21 points came from one position doing one thing wrong. And we can't have that because 11 guys got to be able to work together to get the job done.
All right, we can roll the tape because we got plenty of video from the game. Again, 31-14 was the score as the Lobos beat the JT Lions. The game started late because the officials didn't show up, but they finally got things rolling, and pretty good hard-hitting football game as you would expect, and we start off here on offense.
Yes. We got 3 angles for you guys today, a tight view, wide view, and an end zone view to give you a little perspective on, what we do on the field and how we look at video.
Now, you're still a fairly young team. Your quarterback there is a junior.
He's a junior. He played on varsity as a sophomore, but he played wide receiver.
Wide receiver.
And he goes into the mold of what we used to do, with our varsity quarterback being his junior and senior year, but starting on varsity as a sophomore at another position.
Who's he handing off to? Is that Trey Allison?
That looks like Trey Allison. He's
Who's a sophomore?
He's a sophomore too. Played late in the season last year as a freshman. We moved him on to JV earlier during the season. I think he played the first 6 games in JV, and then we moved him up for the rest of the season.
All right, here you are again. You're playing out of the pistol, I suppose. Is that what you call that?
Yeah.
And
that's Bryson Smith keeping the ball. This young man has a very high ceiling. He just has to learn how to settle down, understand that what he was given for a reason. I'm talking about his ability. He has a strong arm. He has quick feet. He has explosive acceleration. Yes, he's tall, so he just had to understand how to use that. That right there just showing his arm strength, going across the middle of the field, throwing that ball to Dontavian Gross, which is a returning starter for us last year, and he's a senior. Great route, great ball.
And Dun-Dun's really developed. He's a kick returner for you, receiver, just does it all, doesn't he?
Does it all. He's a jack of all trades.
Not a big kid, but he's got a future. He's going to make somebody a fine college player.
He is. He's also getting recruited in track to run the quarter.
Okay,
so,
all right.
He's a pretty good track runner.
I bet he is. Yeah, okay. Dontavian Gross is that young man's name. He wears number 1 for the Lions, and here you are. You got a drive going. You actually jumped out to a lead in this ball game.
We did. We did.
They scored first, then you scored, and then you took a 14-10 lead, right?
This right here is a good, tough run by Trey Allison, showing why he's a big bruising back. He's learned how to keep his feet pumping at the point of contact, which is a great thing for a running back because you never know what you can get out of it after that first contact.
Yeah, that's no yardage turns into about 7.
That's right.
Because of him.
Yeah. And with his stature, he ought to be able to do this every time he touches the ball.
How's your offensive line playing for you right now?
As far as pass protection, I think they're doing a pretty decent job right now. It's an interception by Jontavian Mosley.
Okay.
Junior kid, played on JV last year as a sophomore, and we expect some big things out of him, not just on defense, but offense also. So, but back to what you were saying, on the run game is where we got to get the biggest improvement with them. They're not sustaining blocks right now.
Here's that pick again.
But they know exactly what they're doing. So that's always upside.
Your guys are always ball hawks. I mean, you've had, as long as I've been covering John Tyler football, you've had guys that go after the ball.
Oh, most definitely.
In the secondary.
And that's because we've been blessed to have some pretty good athletes, to play in the secondary for us. So we just use that athletic ability, try to put them in the right positions, and hopefully after they get into the right positions, they can make those plays with their ability.
Bryson Smith on the rollout
Yep.
there.
It's a good read by him. I like the way that he didn't force this throw, kind of like he did last week. Gonna tuck the ball. Let's get what they gave us, and let's hike the ball again. Let's go. So that's a great decision by him. I wish he would have got out of bounds a little quicker than that.
Now take that last hit then, right?
Yeah.
Now who's he complete that to? That Damian Miller?
No, this is the tight end right here. It looked like old Allen Wilson play.
Okay.
That was DK Goodson.
Okay.
He's a sophomore that'll be playing. He also plays on defense.
Coming the other way on this play.
Right here. Little rollout that he done turned into a big play for us. A little late hit out of bounds, but we didn't get that call. That's fine. We're gonna move forward.
And I bet you got a good block by a receiver on the edge here. Let's check the.
He
No,
kind of
really?
stood in the way.
Kind of stood in the way.
Sometimes standing in the way is better than
Yeah,
blocking
I mean,
somebody, so.
that's right. Yeah.
But as athletic as Bryson is, man, he's gonna make a lot of things happen with his feet and his arm. Kind of like a lot of people saw out of Greg his junior, his senior year.
Oh,
Y'all been keeping up with him. He had an awesome game last week for Houston. So
He's a fine football player. And there's the touchdown. That's Trey Allison.
Trey Allison.
That's his first varsity touchdown. That's,
It is.
That's fun.
That's always fun.
You remember your first varsity
Oh, yeah.
touchdown, don't you? Who was it against, by the way?
First varsity touchdown was against Lufkin.
Lufkin, okay.
Lufkin. I remember it was 1-4 cut back down.
Okay. And there you go. That's Trey Allison again. Trey is going to score a bunch more of those before he's done at John Tyler,
yeah.
but that's number one
the
right
plan.
there.
That's the plan.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
He's a young man that's working hard, not just on the offensive side of the
Well-spoken
ball.
young man, too.
Yes, but he's also playing defense. He also
Okay.
is our backup Mike Backer, so he gets a lot of action on the field.
See a little of the Cujo defense here. Chandrick Williams, the kid in the middle there, the linebackers, is
Yes.
playing awfully well for you, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he started for 15 games for us last season, so we expecting big things out of him coming up into this season. This is a great play
Good
right here
tackle.
by Bryson Gibson, coming down, reading the play, and making a secure tackle.
Bryson's a junior this year, right?
No,
Or is he
Bryson's a senior
He's a
this year.
senior this year, but he's started last year in the secondary, right?
Yes, he started for all 15 games for us.
Yeah. Had a nice season for you, and now he's kind of the
Had a
leader
lot
of
of
that group.
turnovers last year for him.
Yeah. I remember he had a couple of scooping scores
Yes,
too,
he
didn't you?
did.
Or a pick six or
Yes,
more.
he did. He had an amazing season last year.
2 or 3 touchdowns. on
Hopefully
defense.
build on that this year.
Who
That's
made
a
that play?
Great field right here by Chandrick Williams,
Okay.
plugging like a true Mike Backer. Coming downhill, making the play, hold on, and let the cavalry get there.
And again, Longview, they do what they do. They're going to run at you. You're going to have to play the run. You beat those guys,
You
aren't
got to
you?
be able to play the run. You got to
Yeah.
be disciplined in what you do, because a lot of 3 of the touchdowns we gave up came from, not doing exactly what you was coached to
Right.
do, but trying to do outside the box. And that's one thing that you got to improve on with a young team in the preseason. They got to learn how to play the game and play the game together.
And play it all the way through,
That's right.
too, right?
I think that's one thing that, I've expressed to them is that I like the way that they have competed. Even though they lost these last 2 games, they competed for all 4 quarters. They may not didn't do everything right for all 4 quarters, but they gave you everything that they had for all 4 quarters. And now, if you add that with discipline, they're going to be a pretty good
Yeah.
football team for the rest of the
As
season.
long as you got the effort, you can work the rest of
we
it
can
out,
work
right?
with the rest of it. We can work with the rest of it. That's no doubt.
Who made that play?
I believe going across the middle, that was Kadarian Johnson.
Okay. Back on offense.
The little swing play to the left, getting it out in space and letting Dun do his thing with his feet.
I love these end zone views. You kind of see what the safety sees there. There you go.
Oh, no, that wasn't Dun. That was James Allen.
James Allen?
James Allen. He's a kid that been playing on JV last year as a junior. Now he's getting his chance to shine on varsity Friday nights.
As a senior.
Yeah. This right here is a muff punt by Longview, man. This is one of them opportunities that, you know, you give yourself to give the ball back to the offense on the short side of the field, and we got to convert that and turn that into points.
Who's your punter this year? What's that young man's name? Devin?
Yeah, that's Devin Salzar.
Okay. All right. There you go.
So we recover the ball right here, and we give our offense the ball on the short end of the field.
In the end zone view of it.
Oh, no, that's Alzerio. He's the one that's punting now, not Devin. I noticed the little orange shoes he got on.
All the kickers have funny looking shoes.
Different looking shoes now.
Oh, yeah.
Good kids, though.
You're on defense here or offense?
It's offense right here.
Offense right here, okay. Do you score on this play? Is this Bryson scoring here?
Yeah, this is Bryson when he runs into the end zone. Little zone read action here. Set up for the pass, didn't see anything. Use his feet to get in the end zone. Touchdown.
And that's good, but you really want him to throw first,
You really want him to throw first, but, you know, with what was going on downfield, with people being covered up, this is one of the deals that he learned from the first game. Don't try to force that throw. Okay. Yeah, he may have been open for a split second, but the way these DBs are closing on the ball, we may not want to make that throw.
Here's your defense, right?
Yes.
Stringing it out. Get a better look at it here. First of all, get a little pressure on the quarterback.
A little pressure on the quarterback, make him throw the ball, force it down. We get an interception on this one. This is a Kadarian Johnson on the interception. So by causing a little frustration with the quarterback, making them string it out, guys running the loops and things like that, forcing the ball. And see, that's one thing that, you know, you always don't need to throw the ball. I like the way that they're keeping their eyes downfield. I'm sure that Coach King likes that too, but at some point in time, you got to know when to tuck it and go and take what they give you. That's another interception right there by, I think that's DeQuaylen Kennedy.
Well, I tell you what, DeQuaylen's another young man who's was a backup last year. Is that his pick there?
Yes, that is his pick. He played on JV last year.
Yeah, and there's another one of those guys, patient. Is he a senior or a junior this year?
He's a sophomore this year.
Sophomore this year, okay, all right. So you'll have
He's
him
another
around.
one of those young puppies back there playing.
But that's just great instincts. I mean, he broke on the ball just the right time.
Yep.
And got the pick, so good for him. Back on offense, great play. We haven't called Damian Miller's name yet. He had 7 catches, had a big night for you.
He had a big night on defense. He ended up with 12 tackles against Longview the other night. So he was more productive on the defensive side of the ball than he was the offensive side of the ball.
Who's Bryson throwing
And he had a
to
couple
here?
of drop balls that probably should have been some big plays for us.
Is that Damian here? Who is that?
I couldn't see that.
I couldn't see. Okay. You can probably tell by Coach Holmes' cell phone that he's an Oklahoma State Cowboy.
Most definitely.
All right, back on offense again. This is Bryson. Nice move to the edge, avoid the contact.
Good job getting out of bounds. And
Make
avoiding
something
the
out of
big
nothing
hit.
there too. They kind of had the angle on him, and he ran around it. That's
And that's
good.
something that you want him to do every time. You know, when it break down, let's go. Showing his quickness, showing his speed, giving us a chance to keep the ball moving. On defense right here, this is another young guy coming off the edge, Dwayne Jones, outside backer. He's a sophomore, running the blitz like we designed it.
Oh wow. Okay. He's coming quickly too.
Most definitely.
He's not a real big kid, but
Not a big kid.
you'll get that. You'll muscle him up some, won't you?
It kind of reminds of a kid we had probably about 5 years ago named Devontae Jones.
I
He
remember
played outside
Devontae
back for
Jones.
us, and he wasn't very big, but
Yeah.
boy, he made some plays for us.
Yeah, I remember Devontae Jones.
That's Jesse Darden on the first contact. He got to make that. He got to make that count. He's another senior this year.
Okay.
That played as a junior on JV, and now he's getting his opportunity to play on Friday. He making the best of it.
Yeah. He's one of your backs, too, when you use a fullback,
Yes,
isn't he?
he is one of our backs when we use the fullback package.
Okay. Running to the edge. And DeJuan Beal is one of your other running backs, too. We'll talk about him, I'm sure. All right, you almost got him in the backfield.
And this is one of the cases I'm talking about. Hey, we get an opportunity to make a play. We got to capitalize on it. And right there, we just didn't make the play. We didn't capitalize on it. And now we put them in a position to keep the ball moving. And that's something that, you learn during the preseason. You learn so that you can correct it in practice, because now you actually have that footage to show them.
I think you've got the ball here.
Good job running the ball right there.
This is Allison, too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Trey Allison again, getting the ball. I'm looking at the offensive line. I'm looking at, the point of contact right now. We got guys on guys, and we actually got guys moving the opposite opposite direction. So that's a good thing to see when you got your offensive line doing that, and they're working in unison.
And you'll see that here with the end zone view. You can kind of get a good look at.
And with the size that we have up there right now, I expect them to be a little bit more physical than what they are right now.
You've got some big guys up there.
Got some bigger guys this year, man, and that's a good thing to have, something that we haven't had in a long time. Not a bad defensive play right there. You got guys where they need to be. Jesse Darden setting the edge. It's a great job.
That's good stuff. And again, the the game at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium turned out 31-14 Longview with the victory, and the Lobos are now 2-0. They love coming over here, as they've always done. Lufkin, of course, also part of the Trinity Mother Frances Kickoff Classic this past Friday night. All right, Robert E. Lee. They had a 42-3 lead on Lufkin Friday night.
Wow.
And lost the game in overtime. I'm sure you were there scouting it.
No, actually, I was going to come to the Robert E. Lee game. I went to Wynonna to support some other kids I had to play that way, and I was on my way leaving from Wynonna.
Listening to me, right?
And I was listening to it on the radio, and I was listening to this. I was like, man, this game's pretty much out of control.
Yeah.
So I called my OC Blaylock. He was telling me, he's like, man, I'm getting ready to leave because it looked like they finna run away with this deal. So I was like, well, you know what? I'm not gonna go to this game. I'm going to went home, wake up the next morning, and I checked my phone like I normally do to catch up with the scores from that night. And I looked at the score, and I was like, I'm thinking to myself, what happened?
Yeah.
So that's a deal where, that's what preseason's about. Your kids got to learn that once they get a lead like that, they got to hold on to it. They can't get off the gas. They got to keep it going. And, I've had my kids get that way during the time that I've been the head coach, and you got to let them learn from that and move forward.
But for a half, Lee was awfully good, and that was the good Robert E. Lee.
Yeah. They was doing exactly what you know they can do.
Right,
they can run the ball, and they're very explosive. They got speed at the edges, and they know how to use it.
I was going to say, can you give me a scouting report on Robert E. Lee? What impresses you about him?
Offensively, they're explosive. You got three guys that can run, and they can run. So as a defensive coach, as a defensive scheme, you got to make sure you contain those guys and not let them get to the edge, because if they get to the edge, they're going to outrun you, and they're going to make big plays. Right now, their offense to me is based off of big plays right now, because that's what they create with their speed. Being able to sustain a drive, 5 here, 6 here, 7 here, I don't think that's their demeanor right now. They're more of the, hey, I'm going to get it, I'm going to go 60, I'm going to go 40, I'm going to go 70. And they're going to make you run after them.
And I'm sure for your seniors, losing to them last year was that was a bitter pill to swallow, even if it is a non-district game,
Even if it is a non-district game, even if you go to the semifinals, you still look back on your senior year and you know that you lost the league.
So what does this game mean to these guys?
Bragging rights. I'm going to say this every year, it's bragging rights for a whole year. No matter how well they do, no matter how well we do, It's always going to come down to September 11th, John Tyler won or Lee won.
I want to, last 3 minutes we have, just a couple of minutes there. There was a play in a high school game in San Antonio that's got national attention over the weekend. San Antonio J, Marble Falls. Two of the San Antonio J players, last minute of the game, they're losing. They target the umpire.
Yeah.
And hit him not once but twice.
Twice.
As
Two
a head
kids.
coach, what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that is you got to do something to punish your kids. I don't know what you do to punish them, but you got to let them know that that's not acceptable. But at the same time, you got to look at the punishment that they gave to grown men. And we talking about the New Orleans Saints. They were targeting players just like they targeted a referee. And they got a suspension, they got a fine. I heard some people talking about the kids need to be kicked off the team and they don't need to play anymore. Well, if you kick those kids off, why didn't you kick off the Saints? Because they make a lot of money, But everybody got to learn a lesson. And at the end of the day, they're still kids. Kids make wrong decisions. And as adults, we need to try to make sure that decision that they made at that time never happens again.
But you'd give them a shot after whatever due process, maybe give them a shot, maybe?
It really depends to me, it depends on the kid. It depends on the history that I had with that young man, and that's going to determine how you handle that situation. If it's a kid that has repetitively done something, not of this magnitude, but has done something over time, then you may handle it differently than a kid that this is his first time that he done something of this magnitude. This is the first time he done anything at all. So, you don't treat everybody the same, but you treat everybody fairly. Yeah. The old saying. So.
Right. I'd never seen anything like that before.
Never seen anything like that in my life. And, I heard a lot of people talk about it, but then when I saw it on your phone, I was like, wow. Because I knew they said that, it was two kids involved, but I thought the two kids came at the same time. I didn't know, like, one came, knocked him down, and the other kid came in while he was on the ground. That's vicious and that's malicious.
Well, it's a bad situation. Finally, we'll just wrap it up this way. How much fun is it to coach in a game like this? And what will the atmosphere, in your opinion, be like Friday night?
I think it's going to be a lot of people there. Tyler crowd, they are who they are. They're going to be there. They're going to be talking noise to each other. They're going to be pumping up Lee's side. They're going to be pumping up John Tyler's side. Hopefully, this Friday everything's working, so we'll be all right.
All right. Again, keep in mind, JT fans, that you are the designated home team. It switches back and forth every year. This year, the Lions are the home team, so you'll be sitting on the press box side on Friday night. Make sure you get there early. And for both sides, be loud and be great fans. Not bad fans, great fans. Make a lot of noise and enjoy great high school football, because this is a really fun game. It's the 60th meeting between the Lions and the Red Raiders, 7:30 Friday night at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium. For Coach Holmes, I'm Bill Coates. Thanks for joining us.